Hey, 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 hey. How you doing out there, everybody? We just want to welcome you to another episode of Getting Stoned with your host, Mr. Stone Bukowski. Coming at you live from Mother Earth on this beautiful sunny day. Yeah, one love, y'all. One love, y'all. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here, right here on this earth. Don't ever for 1 second doubt that you were not meant to be here, that you do not deserve to be here, that you do not belong here. Because the fact of the matter is, you done come, so you done meant to be here. You feel me, y'all? You feel the business I'm throwing down. I love to love you, baby. 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 Woo. Yeah. All right. Well, what do you say now? You know how it goes, man. We gonna give each other a big hug. You know how it goes. Come on now. Come on. Oh yeah. Just nice and easy and nice and slow. Heart to heart. Soul to soul. Yes. So we got a couple of things we're gonna bring to the table today, y'all. I was just feeling it, you know. I'm winging it as always, but a couple moments ago I just decided, okay, this is what we're gonna bring on down here today. Yeah, all right. This is what we're gonna bring on down. Turn off the television. Listen to your inner vision. You are here on a mission. You don't have to ask permission. Open your heart and listen. Close the distance and the division. Mother Earth holds great wisdom. Yeah, so you get yourself out there, you know. I'm into this, health business. It's how I pay the bills. I don't talk about it much. But, ain't nothing more important than health. You can be a rich motherfucker, and if you ain't feeling good, it don't mean shit. So health is where it's at, right? It is the ultimate wealth. So get outside, put your bare feet on Mother Earth. Ground your ass. Interestingly enough, what it does is it alkalizes your body. Makes your body function more healthfully, more efficiently, more beautifully. The body is a miracle. The body is magical. We understand so little of it. So little. We like to pretend otherwise. We like to think we got all this, smarty pants. Humans are so smart. Yeah. I call bullshit. Take a look around, man. We unhealthier than we've ever fucking been. Obesity everywhere. Hell, half of America's obese. And the kids too. The children obese. Ain't good, man. Ain't good at all. I'm not gonna go into it too much, but it ain't no fucking accident. So you gotta step into your power and resist all the energies that are being, sent out through the wavelengths by some people that don't have your health and your well-being at heart. They just have dollar bills screaming in their ears, fatten my wallet. Yeah. Oh no, we got the cure. Yeah. We know. We have the cure, and we looking out for you, so just trust us and do what we say because we're experts, we know. Yeah, fuck you. Yeah. And these last few years have been one of the biggest lies of ever times. How do we ever get to a point where we feel like we have to inject toxic chemicals, toxic metals, toxic God knows what? We have to inject it into our bodies to think it's going to keep us safe, to protect us, to keep us healthy, to keep us... What the hell, man? That is like some ass backwards thinking. Humans are not vectors of disease. Let me just say that one more time. Humans are not vectors of disease. Humans are vectors of love. If you believe in that, you're good. If you believe in the trickery, the mind fuckery, well, then guess what? You are putty in the hands of some unloving people, let's just say. All right. Enough of that business. Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. Imagine there's no countries, no reason to kill or die for. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you join us and the world will live as one. Yeah, Mr. John Lennon, that was one beautiful, bitchin', badass brother. Yeah, I know I skipped around in the words of it. I know that. And you know what? I just don't care. I just was moved by it. That's all. That's why it happens. All this business. So, let me just jump on into it here. We got myth number 4 in the 33 Myths of the System, brought to you by Mr. Darren Allen. All right, let's jump on into it. This is the myth of equality, class equality. Social class means power, how much or how little of it you have. People with power are terrified that powerless people might identify with each other, so they promote the idea that class does not exist. In the most advanced, quote, late capitalist phase of the system, class distinctions do seem to have been erased, but they have actually been uploaded and distributed across society, making them harder to perceive. Social class can be understood in terms of what you own, how much money you have, what kind of job you do, where you live, what kind of language you use, your taste, your education, and your attitude to your fellows. But while all of these can be used as social markers, particularly in countries like the UK and India, where class divisions have historically been very prominent, they are all secondary effects of what fundamentally divides people in a hierarchical society: power. The, quote, upper classes give the orders, the, quote, middle classes execute them, and the, quote, lower classes take them. Ultimately, it's as simple as that for every country on earth. It is undeniably true that social classes have internal subdivisions, along with their own complex and shifting interests, which intersect with each other, creating a more complex class system than the standard lower, upper, middle model. The working class of the West, for example, took a precarious upward lurch into the service economy when its manufacturing work was shipped wholesale to East Asia a few years back. And the professional class of the West is, as I write, being eroded by artificial intelligence and an extreme polarization of wealth, driving the propertied middle up into the stratosphere and the merely educated middle down into the gutter. But despite the many shifting, blurring, and in some cases vanishing aspects of class, it is still only possible to understand a hierarchical society and the formation of men and women's attitudes within it in terms of power relations, of who at the top owns the system, who in the middle manages it, and who at the bottom builds it or is excluded by it. This is why when John Major, the right-wing leader of the British Conservative Party in the 1990s, said he hoped that Britain would soon be a classless society, and when Joseph Stalin described the USSR as classless, and when around half of Americans define themselves as, quote, middle class, and when Adolf Hitler said that the National Socialist state recognizes no classes, and when upper managers do away with signs of hierarchy in the equalizing office, and when the mass media publish article after article, book after book on class, none of them ever mentions power. They want people who have no power to believe, because they have an exalted job title, a mortgage, a degree, an iPhone, or shares in Walmart, that we are all middle class now, or that class is a quaint, out-of-date idea of interest in Marxist, perhaps, or in the English, but inapplicable to the real world. Elites want the poor, the powerless, and the exploited to believe that they have more in common with wealthy members of their own group, fellow blacks, whites, women, men, gays, straights, gamers, punks, and so on, than with the poor, powerless, alienated, and exploited members of other groups. Nothing horrifies power more than the prospect of power-based class solidarity. Hence, the tolerance, even promotion, of identity-based class solidarity. The formation and celebration of communities and concerted initiatives to grant them equal status within the system. Not a day goes by without an article being published bemoaning the gender pay gap or a corporate meeting being held on diversifying management to include more women, more ethnic minorities, and more disabled people. Only a lunatic Nazi could oppose such initiatives. And yet, there's not quite so much fuss about the power pay gap, or about leveling the playing field for the powerless classes, or about making serious structural changes so that ordinary working people, whatever their color, gender, or sexual proclivity, are not treated like chattel. Somehow, the inherent systemic biases of the power-based market system and the manner in which the system alienates everyone from their own nature is ignored. But then, how could there be a fuss when power doesn't really exist? Elite owners and their managers want classism, powerism, to exist on the subtlest level possible, and they want lower class students and workers to be unaware of how their relationship to power shapes their experiences and generates their feelings. Elites and managers want their hatred of chaves, the homeless, the global poor, and the lumpen proletariat to be taken as judgments of hygiene, oh, smelly. Sexuality, oh, gender stereotype. Education, oh, doesn't understand apostrophes. And taste, ugh, overdressed. And they want people with no power to believe that class power is an ideological illusion, or if it does have any reality, that it is nowhere near as important as equality issues, professionally administered justice, and personal identity. Not to mention the litany of often ludicrous subsidiary problems the media prefers to focus on. Or finally, if ordinary folk don't feel sufficiently middle class, that all they have to do is work harder and sooner or later they'll be allowed in the marvelous club. The powerful want the powerless to believe these things, and they want minority groups, neighbors, and even generations to be continually at war because it serves their class interests. You might not be aware of your class, but you can be quite sure that those who benefit from your lack of awareness are. And yet, clearly something has fundamentally changed since the days not so very long ago when working class solidarity was a force so powerful that it was able not just to slow the progress of capitalism, but in a few places, for a few brief moments, actually halt it. Class relations do still exist, wealth and power do still alter character, and social relations in predictable ways, but exploitation, ownership, and production have all been, to an extraordinary extent, internalized. Who is the capitalist boss oppressing the freelance supply teacher, the Uber or Deliveroo driver, the Airbnb host, or the office temp? There are owners and managers out there somewhere, but their immediate physical presence seems somehow to have evaporated, while the exploitative power within their bodies seems also to have magically melted away, leaving really awesome people. What is happening is extremely hard to grasp, yet dominates modern life. Class relations have been obscured in the most subtle and pervasive way imaginable. They have been virtualized in the same way that communication, society and culture, capital, and consciousness have. Distributed through digital, Phil-Dickian networks and the hyper-focused minds which create and respond to them, leaving the technical expert very often with more power than the mere owner. Reality exists less and less in tangible form, yet its conceptual projection exerts more and more power over actual sensate existence. Class power and capital increasingly exist nowhere while projecting themselves everywhere into each atomized online individual who has become his own owner, manager, worker, teacher, lawyer, priest, scientist, artist, society, and God. When he sickens or saddens, he searches for an external cause and finds nothing but complaint forms, call centers, discussion threads, all composed of anxious people in the same weird situation. He concludes that he must be the problem and goes out of his mind. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the myth of class equality. Well. There you have it. More insight from Mr. Darren Allen. I don't really have anything to comment beyond that. I think he says it all perfectly, concisely and wondrously, and way more intelligently, thoughtfully, brilliantly than I ever could. So we're just going to leave that right there. But what we're going to do is we're going to jump off of that into a short thing that another one of my enormous influences, if you will, someone I've learned so much from. A gentleman by the name of John Gray. He wrote a book called Straw Dogs, Thoughts on Humans and Other Animals. And I go back to it time and time and time again. So he has a little piece in there in the first chapter where it's a good follow-up to what we just finished. And I'm just going to share it right here. It's titled, Why Humanity Will Never Master Technology. Quote, humanity does not exist. There are only humans, driven by conflicting needs and illusions, and subject to every kind of infirmity of will and judgment. At present, there are nearly 200 sovereign states in the world. Most are unstable, oscillating between weak democracy and weak tyranny. Many are rusted through with corruption or controlled by organized crime, while regions of the world, much of Africa, Southern Asia, Russia, the Balkans, and the Caucasus, and parts of South America, are strewn with corroded or collapsed states. At the same time, the world's most powerful states, like the United States, China, Japan, will not accept any fundamental limitation on their sovereignty. They are jealous of their freedom of action, if only because they have been enemies in the past and know they may become so again in the future. Yet it is not the number of sovereign states that makes technology ungovernable. It is technology itself. The ability to design new viruses for use in genocidal weapons does not require enormous resources of money, plant, or equipment. New technologies of mass destruction are cheap. The knowledge they embody is free. It is impossible to prevent them becoming ever more easily available. Bill Joy, one of the pioneers of the new information technologies, has written thus: the 21st century technologies, genetics, nanotechnologies, and robotics, are so powerful that they can spawn whole new classes of accidents and abuses. Most dangerously, for the first time, these accidents and abuses are widely within the reach of individuals or small groups. They will not require large facilities or rare raw materials. Knowledge alone will enable the use of them. Thus, we have the possibility not just of weapons of mass destruction, but of knowledge-enabled mass destruction. This destructiveness, hugely amplified by the power of self-replication. In part, governments have created this situation by ceding so much control over new technology to the marketplace. They have colluded in their own powerlessness. Nevertheless, the proliferation of new weapons of mass destruction is not in the end a result of errors of policy. It is a consequence of the diffusion of knowledge. Controls on technology cannot be enforced. The genetic modification of crops, animals, or humans may be forbidden in some countries, but it will go ahead in others. The world's powers can pledge that genetic engineering will have only benign uses, but it can be only a matter of time before it is used for purposes of war. Perhaps the world's most unstable states can be prevented from acquiring nuclear capability, but how can biological weapons be kept out of the hands of forces no government controls? If anything about the present century is certain, it is that the power conferred on humanity by new technologies will be used to commit atrocious crimes against it. If it becomes possible to clone human beings, soldiers will be bred in whom normal human emotions are stunted or absent. Genetic engineering may enable age-old diseases to be eradicated. At the same time, it is likely to be the technology of choice in future genocides. Those who ignore the destructive potential of new technologies can do so only because they ignore history. Pogroms are as old as Christendom, but without railways, the telegraph, and poison gas, there would have been no Holocaust. There have always been tyrannies, but without modern means of transport and communication, Stalin and Mao could not have built their gulags. Humanity's worst crimes were made possible only by modern technology. There is a deeper reason why humanity will never control technology. Technology is not something that humankind can control. It is an event that has befallen the world. Once the technology enters human life, whether it be fire, the wheel, the automobile, radio, television, or the internet, it changes it in ways we can never fully understand. Cars may have been invented to make moving about easier, but they soon came to be embodiments of forbidden desires. According to Illich, quote, the model American puts in 1,600 hours to get 7,500 miles, less than 5 miles an hour, not much more than he could travel on his own 2 feet. Which is more important today? The use of cars as means of transportation, or their use as expressions of our own unconscious yearnings for personal freedom, sexual release, and the final liberation of sudden death. Nothing is more commonplace than to lament that moral progress has failed to keep pace with scientific knowledge. If only we were more intelligent or more moral, we could use technology only for benign ends. The fault is not in our tools, we say, but in ourselves. In one sense, this is true. Technical progress leaves only one problem unsolved: the frailty of human nature. Unfortunately, that problem is insoluble. So that pretty much, in what would it take? 5 minutes? It's like 3 pages. People, oftentimes, everyone's talking about this technology and the AI right now and how big of a deal it is. And, oh my God, it's going to change the world and it's just going to be amazing and yada, 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 yada. And my attitude has always pretty much been what Mr. Gray just spoke to right there. I don't need to ramble on about it, but technology, it's not going to save us. It's not going to make our lives better. It's not going to do all these wonderful things we say it's going to do, because that's never what happens. It's not what it does. It is what it is, my friends. We are what we are. So, get on out there in the world, man. Live your life. Enjoy the love of your family and your friends and your dog. Enjoy a delicious meal. Enjoy the sunset. Enjoy a beautiful afternoon nap. Find a way to give of yourself to another so that person feels that they are cared for. Find a way to know in your heart and in your soul that you yourself are the divine, that there is nothing to be afraid of, that there is nowhere to go, that you are love, you are here, right now, where you belong. And being born is a precious gift. Yes, along with it comes enormous amounts of suffering. But if you can find a way to the joy, to the appreciation, to the gratitude, to the understanding that you are not two, that you are one with Source, with God, with your fellow brothers and sisters, with the plants, with the animals, with the vegetables, with the minerals, with the stars. All this other business, the things I read, the myths of the system, and all of this stuff, I personally think it's valuable to be aware of it, to understand this, what Thich Nhat Hanh would call historical reality. This is the three-dimensional, day-to-day bullshit, this stuff that we get all caught up in and think is real, but yeah, not so much. I think it's important to understand the goings-on of that, but certainly not to be attached to any of it. To understand everything is impermanent, to understand that to give another a hug, a meal, a compliment, a listening ear, a moment of connection, that, my friends, my brothers, my sisters, is where it's at. Hoo-ha! All right, you know we can't cut out of here without some poetry. So I've been jonesing for one of my favorite poets, so I'm going to rip on into a couple of pieces of his. Mr. Charles Bukowski, y'all know how much I respect and admire and appreciate this gentleman. Let's just kick it right off here. This is a poem called Small Talk. All right. While we are gently celebrating tonight, and while crazy classical music leaps at me from my small radio, I light a fresh cigar and realize that I am still very much alive, and that the 21st century is upon me. I walk softly now toward 5 a.m. this dark night. My 5 cats have been in and out, looking after me. I have petted them, spoken to them. They are full of their own private fears wrought by previous centuries of cruelty and abuse. But I think that they love me as much as they can. Anyhow, what I'm trying to say here is that writing is just as exciting and mad and just as big a gamble for me as it ever was. Because death, after all these years, walks around in the room with me now and speaks softly, asking, do you still think that you are a genuine writer? Are you pleased with what you've done? Listen. Let me have one of those cigars. Help yourself, motherfucker, I say. Death lights up, and we sit quietly for a time. I can feel him here with me. Don't you long for the ferocity of youth? He finally asks. Not so much, I say. But don't you regret those things that have been lost? Not at all, I say. Don't you miss, he asked slyly, the young girls climbing through your window? All they brought was bad news, I tell him. But the illusion, he says. Don't you miss the illusion? Hell yes. Don't you? I ask. I have no illusions, he says sadly. Sorry, I forgot about that, I say. Then walk to the window unafraid and strangely satisfied to watch the warm dawn unfold. Ah, my goodness gracious, Charles. I mean, so good, this fella. So good, this brother. All right, one more here from Buck. This was titled The Crunch. Too much, too little, too fat, too thin, or nobody. Laughter or tears, haters, lovers. Strangers with faces like the backs of thumbtacks. Armies running through streets of blood, waving wine bottles, bayoneting and fucking virgins. Or an old guy in a cheap room with a photograph of Marilyn Monroe. There is a loneliness in this world so great that you can see it in the slow movement of the hands of a clock. People so tired, mutilated either by love or no love. People just are not good to each other one-on-one. The rich are not good to the rich. The poor are not good to the poor. We are afraid. Our educational system tells us that we can all be big-ass winners. It hasn't told us about the gutters or the suicides or the terror of one person aching in one place, alone, untouched, unspoken to, watering a plant. People are not good to each other. People are not good to each other. People are not good to each other. I suppose they will never be. I don't ask them to be. But sometimes I think about it. The beads will swing, the clouds will cloud, and the killer will behead the child like taking a bite out of an ice cream cone. Too much, too little, too fat, too thin, or nobody. More haters than lovers. People are not good to each other. Perhaps if they were, our deaths would not be so sad. Meanwhile, I look at young girls' stems, flowers of chance. There must be a way. Surely, there must be a way we have not yet thought of. Who put this brain inside of me? It cries, it demands, it says that there is a chance. It will not say no. Hell yeah. Mr. Charles Bukowski, many, many blessings. Thank you, my brother. Thank you, my brother, for bringing your beauty to this world. I know you're out there somewhere, smoking your cigar, having a cocktail, staring out that window with a beautiful lady sitting right next to you with a hand on your thigh. Oh, yes, yes, yes. All right, so what we're going to do now, we're going to sing a song as we do here. I'm going to try another one of my originals. I haven't played this in, it's kind of like last episode. I haven't played this song in quite a while, but you know, what the hell? We're just having fun here, right? I hope you appreciate it. I want you to understand always the fact that you would take your precious time to listen here to your brother Stone is immensely meaningful to me. My gratitude knows no bounds. I wish nothing but love and light for every single being, every single sentient being on this earth. Let us find a way there. Let us look inside and see our souls connected. Hell yeah. All right, this tune is it's kind of related to all the what we were just kind of riffing off on here today. So it's called The Stories We Tell. Like I said, I'm gonna try to do my best here on this one, but you know, I didn't even really run through it. I didn't rehearse it or nothing. That I just kind of, I don't know. This is just how I roll, man. We are born of this earth, so innocent and free. We're seldom taught what life's worth. We're programmed into see. It makes no sense in the things that we do. All this violence we happen to close. We rip and we kill like madmen we are. Wish we could just be still and live from the heart. What if love is all that we are? What if love we share near and far? What if love is all that we are? Then I'm loved too, and so are you. We must begin anew if we hope to survive and stop being so cruel. Let's see with new eyes. We're not separate. We are strands in life's web. No more time for regret. All life is secret. The stories we tell create what we are. I got nothing to sell, just songs from the heart. Waves on the ocean, stars in the sky. We're raindrops falling. We're life's lullaby. What if love was all that we are? Oh, what if love we share near and far? What if love is all that we are? What if love we share near and far? Then I'm loved too, so are you. Then I'm loved too, so are you. Yeah. The stories we tell, the stories we tell. Yes, 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 yes. That's my beautiful little Addie. She's up there barking. She's making sure we're all, safe. Something's going on. So, all right, y'all. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you have an absolutely beautiful day. Know that you are loved. Know that you matter. Know that you are precious and beautiful and gorgeous and glorious. Until next time, brothers and sisters, this is Charles Bukowski saying peace.